In the SAP S4 HANA, we can maintain the ledger and go through the path, financial accounting, global setting, ledger, again ledger, and we have the option setting the ledger and the currency types. So with respect to the currency types also, we have the changes in the SAP S4 HANA vis-a-vis your ECC system. First, the client currency or the group currency, we will be able to view with the help of SCC4, we can see it. So that is the client currency. Here, for example, my client is 800. So I can see here my client currency is INR. And if let's say I need to maintain my company code currency. So that is the currency we will be maintaining at a company code level. That will become my company code currency. And also the group currency is going to be the currency you will be maintaining for your controlling area. Now here it is saying that we have the OB22 screen, and in this screen, let it be any of the data. We have this 2200. We can double click on this. Now you can just see here we have been given three currencies. So we have the first currency as company code currency. Then the next is going to be our our group currency, and third is going to be your hard currency. Now, if I just show you the screen in the OB22, so let me just show you once again. It will redirect us to the transaction code. It is FINSC underscore ledger to edit the currency setting. So now we have been given 8 more currencies apart from 3 regular currencies. So we can click on the continue button, and here we can take any of the company code. Let it be 2187, and we can here it is not actually added. That is the reason it is not coming. So let it be this 2655 company code I'm taking. And here we can see our regular currency. So here we have three standard currencies, but apart from this, if you want to have the additional currency, so that additional currencies have been given the name as freely defined currency. And where you will be able to see that freely defined currency. So for that, you need to go through the transaction code FINC underscore ledger. So that is where the system will take you. So if you just click on this, and here we have been given the ledger. So here you know that standard ledger is there. Okay, we have been given the extension ledger. So what is the extension ledger? So first we'll discuss this standard ledger. So let's say this is the ledger we have, and for this ledger I want to set up my company code automatically. When you are going to define your company code chart of account, so this will be assigned to your company code automatically. But if you want to still see and maintain some changes, so or you want to make some changes, so what you need to do, you will select this standard ledger ID 0L, and after that you need to go to the left side company code setting, and here you need to double click on this. Enter. Now here we have a list of company code, and we can see here the company code ID 2187. This is a sample company code, and here for the sample company code, you can just see the local currencies there. Your group currency, that we can take it as a global currency, so that is there. And then we can also see the freely defined currency, which we can take it up to 8 currencies. So 8 plus 30, 8 plus 3. Now we can maintain the data in the 11 currencies. So that is what we have here with respect to the currencies. Okay. Okay. And if I just double click on this, it will show you here. Okay, so you can just see my company code currency, my group currency, and my this is the CO currency, that is we have maintained for the legal valuation. Now if you want to maintain, if you want to add the currency, you can click on the add currency, and system will take you the first freely defined currency, and same way you can add more. So maximum 8 are allowed, and if you want to remove, so you can also remove it. So this is how we'll be able to add the currencies, and then you can save it for your company code. Now if I just come back, if I come back to the ledger, so you can just see we have been given the standard ledger. What is the standard ledger? Any of the ledger you will be maintaining as a independent, so that you will be able to maintain the book. So that will be counted as, or I would say in the ECC we used to maintain the non-leading ledger. So any of your non-leading ledger we can take it as a standard ledger, including your leading ledger. So you can just see for the leading also we have here the standard ledger, but for the extension ledger, that is different from the standard ledger, because when you will be maintaining the extension ledger, you can just see here we have been given two types. One is the extension ledger and second is the standard. So standard is just like any non-leading ledger. But if you want to maintain any extension ledger, so what will happen? So here we don't need to make the entry. And here, what is the extension ledger? What is the use of it? Actually, the use of this ledger is, for example, I'm maintaining my data as per the US GAAP, but for my internal reporting, for my group reporting, or for my localization, so I need to, or let's say for my auditor, or for the senior management, I need to maintain a ledger which will have some extra entries. For example, I'm taking here the ledger. This is my standard ledger, leading ledger. Leading, non-leading, leading doesn't matter, but here we can take it as a standard ledger. We have maintained a standard. And then we also have the extension ledger. Now, what is the use of the extension ledger? So first of all, when you will be maintaining any extension ledger, for your extension ledger, you have to have any of your standard ledger. You can't maintain your extension ledger standalone. Standalone means here.
Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for the latest videos and notifications. You can contact us for online SAP trainings and certifications. Thank you.
You can just see any extension ledger you will see here. This extension ledger has been assigned to the underlying ledger. So underlying ledger means this is dependent on this ledger. So this ledger could be leading ledger or non-leading ledger. So we can just scroll down, and here again we can scroll down. But here only leading ledger is there, but we can maintain any other standard ledger as well apart from the leading ledger. So the one thing is, when you are going to maintain the extension ledger, you need to have here underlying ledger. Why? Because this extension is going to take the data from where? From the standard ledger, or from the underlying ledger, which would be your standard ledger. Now, how the data would be maintained? Let's find out. So here we have the extension, we have the leading ledger, which will have the data. For example, we have the figures 100, and it is 10, 20, and we have 30. So these are the figures we have here, and the total of it is 160. 160 is the total. Now, apart from this, when you will be defining any extension ledger, and you have said that okay, this extension ledger is dependent on this ledger which you have maintained on your left side. So what will happen? By default all these three entry will come automatically. These entry will come, and also you can make here some additional data. For example, you can just say that okay, there are some entries which I can't make it here, but in the extension ledger I can do it. For example, I have made a extra entry of 10, extra entry of 20, and extra entry of again 30. So this is how much it is going to be, 60. So this 60 plus 60, 160, it is going to be 220. So the extension ledger is going to give you the balance as 220, whereas your standard ledger will be showing as 160. So what does it mean? It means that whatever the data you will be inputting here in the extension ledger, over and above the data, system would be taking the basic data as well. Okay, this is clear.
Yeah,
Then on the right side, Here you can just see the manual posting allowed, not allowed, sorry. So if you will select this checkbox, then the manual posting will not be allowed. And if you will deselect the checkbox, then obviously the manual posting will be allowed. So at the last, we have the accounting principle. So for each of your leading ledger or non-leading ledger, you can assign, or even extension ledger, you can assign the accounting principle. So accounting principle, as we are aware that if we are doing the reporting as per some international accounting standard, US GAAP, IFRS, or if we want to do the reporting as per some statutory law, so or for internal audit, so accordingly we can maintain here the accounting principle, which we can link with the leading or non-leading ledger. Then actually how we need to do it, actually here you can first select your ledger, then go to the company code. Further you can take your company code, let's say my company code is 2187, and further I can link it to the accounting principle. Here you can select your company code and then double click on the accounting principle for the ledger and company code. So we can have here the assignment. We can click on the new entry button, and that particular accounting principle is going to be part of your company code and ledger. So here we can mention the accounting principle, and which is going to be combination of your ledger and company code. That is the thing we have here. So I'll just show you an example for the extension ledger in the system, how the system is going to, or how this extension ledger will hold the data, delta posting. Delta posting means all those posting which we have particularly entered in the extension ledger. And apart from that system, this extension ledger will also drive the data from the base ledger or from the underlying ledger. So here we have the ledger setting. We can go to the ledger setting. It is the under the global setting, financial accounting global setting, and then we have the ledger, and then we have the setting for the ledger and currency type. Here we have a leading ledger that we have maintained as a standard ledger, and we have other standard ledger. But some of the standard ledger we have, but some of the ledger we have maintained as a extension ledger. For example, we have this extension ledger AEAF. So here I will pick this extension ledger, which is NL. So this is the extension ledger, and this extension ledger is dependent on the, or its underlying ledger is 0L. So it is dependent on the leading ledger. So whatever the posting we have in the leading ledger, so same posting will be taken by this extension ledger, and along with this, it will have its own data. So it will show you the delta posting, and it will also have the data from the base ledger. So it is going to give you a total amount. But how it is different from the non-leading ledger? If you know the non-leading ledger, if we maintain the entry, so the same entry will get reflected. For example, we have two non-leading ledger. One is the we have two non-leading ledger apart from the leading ledger. So if I will make any entry in the and if I don't mention any ledger group, so it will get replicated in all the three ledgers. First is your leading ledger, and second and third is your non-leading ledger. But how this extension is different from the non-leading? Actually, this extension ledger will not keeping the data in the table, and that is the reason it will reduce the footprints. It will reduce the data footprint. So it will only keep the delta entries, but while showing the report, it will show you the entries or the data from the base ledger or underlying ledger and its own data. So that is how it is maintained, and it is different from the non-leading ledger, which will have its own, or which will keep the data uh, in the table as well. So here, if I show you the table as well, so table here I mean to say the universal ledger, and for that we have this AC DOCA table. And here we have a company code. It is 2655. For this, we are having this leading ledger and extension ledger. So here, leading ledger we have it is 0L, that is a standard ledger, and this is the NL is your extension ledger. This is the standard ledger. So this NL is dependent on your standard ledger. Now, if you just see, we have here the entries. So these are the line item data which we can see debit, credit, and uh, and these posting we have made it in the or these posting system is just showing you these four line items. So these four line items we have entered in the extension ledger. But while doing the reporting, it will also capturing the data from the leading ledger. So that is the highlight about the extension ledger. So let's have here the report. For that, we can go to the FAGLB03, FAGLB03. Account range from 1 to all, and company code 2655, year 2020. So first we'll see the entry in the leading ledger, that is the 0L. So we have the entry, it is 1100. So this is the entry we have on the both side debit and credit side. Now, if I see the balance for the extension ledger, to go to the extension ledger, here we can also have a document number. So let's keep a document number so that we can verify that it is reading the data from the base ledger or not. So here we have the document number as 100,000 and 100,001 entered on 14th of and 18th of June. So we can go back and we can check the data for the extension ledger. So let's display the extension ledger data. We can change the ledger. Here we have the extension ledger as NL, and let's display the data. So we can see here we have the amount which is 2200, 2200 on the both side. Now we can double click on this and we can see here it is having the data coming from the extension ledger, coming from the base ledger, which is 100,000 and 100,001 entered on 18 and 14, but it has its own data, and we can see here its own data we have with the document number 99000 and again entered on same date. So this is how we'll be able to this is how while doing the reporting, the system will just show you the delta entry as well as the entries, or it will be reading the entry from the base ledger. But in the table, in the AC Docker table, it will record only those entries we have posted in the extension ledger. It will not record those posting which in the AC Docker table which we have entered in the standard ledger. So that is the and that is the main thing about the extension ledger. Okay. This
That means when there is a we are making a transaction only in extension ledger, and then that will be coming in the is it okay?
correct. Those
Okay.
posting we have made in the extension, so that those posting will be shown by system in the AC Docker table. But while doing the while we can just see the report, so at that point of time it will carry the data posting as well as the posting for your base ledger or the underlying ledger. It will not show you the entries for your base ledger.
Yeah. Okay.
But here, like that entry, it will not show you at a AC Docker table, but here we can see these entries coming from the base ledger. So where the data footprint has been reduced. So the data footprint has been reduced in this AC Docker table.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm, So some
In
more
other
facts about.
case, when there is a the zero L or non-leading ledger, that case if you are putting any transactions, that is not, then when there is that extension ledger is not coming in HANA, no?
Yeah, extension ledger posting will come in the EC docker table, but those entries which extension ledger has picked from the underlying, so those data will not be read by the extension ledger in the EC docker table.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some more detail about the extension ledger. So it is saying that why we need to have this extension ledger. We can use it for the entries to be made in the close period and for the restatement purpose. So for the internal adjustment when we have the close period, so we can't make the entry in the FI. So those entries we will be able to process in the extension ledger because yesterday, I have just shown you that how we can have a different opening closing of period in the CO period. If we compare it or if we match it with the FI period in the OB52, so we can have a different opening closing of period in the CO that we can maintain in the interval 3. Okay? That could be different from your interval 1, that is for the FI posting. Then the next thing it is saying that this extension ledger can also be used to distribute the revenues differently on the organization units than in the legal view. So for the reporting purpose, if we want to view the revenues, so in that case also we can use this extension ledger. Then it is saying that this extension ledger can be used to make the adjustment for the consolidated report when we are doing the consolidation. In that, if you want to make some adjustment, in that case you can make a use of the extension ledger. But there are some limitation with the extension ledger. What are those limitation? We need to know those limitation also. It is saying that no posting to the vendor customer reconciliation account will be recorded by the extension ledger. Then with the extension ledger, again, no posting to the GL account which we have made it activated for the open item management. So those ledger which have been activated with the open item management, so the system is not going to accept the entries in the extension ledger for those GL. Then there is no extension ledger, there is no integration of extension ledger with the asset accounting, and a few automatic processes can be integrated with the extension ledger. So it is not very much, I would say, taking the data. So that is the reason these are the limitations we need to also keep in the mind while we are giving the solution or we are discussing or we are giving the information to the client. So this was about the ledger setting.
Thanks for watching this video. You can like, comment, share, also email us for more details. Thank you.